Good morning and welcome to the DOGE Report. Today's edition is called, But They Did It First. Let's get into it. So everyone who's upset about DOGE, saying like, oh, you can't create like a whole new branch of the government. Well, guess what? We did not. DOGE is just a revamping of a 2014 Obama administration called the United States Digital Service. In 2014, he created that to have a more efficient technology within the government to help with the government efficiencies. DOGE just happens to be doing it much better. So technically, Obama created it. We're just utilizing it to its maximum capacity. Number two, during the Clinton years, for those who are upset about all the federal layoffs, during the Clinton years, Bill Clinton laid off 426,000 federal employees in an attempt to decrease government spending and to help with the federal budget. To his credit, it is the only time that we have actually had a surplus. So maybe there's something to all these government workers causing us a lot of debt. So I say we continue. Number three, Biden laid off 11,000 Keystone Pipeline workers. And anytime you talked about that on social media, you were labeled as putting up misinformation, you were blocked, very much like the COVID years. In fact, speaking of COVID years, during COVID, 20% of the healthcare workforce either was laid off or opted out of working due to the vaccine mandate. That is massive numbers of layoffs. Where was the outrage then? So it seems to be what is good for the goose is not good for the gander. They don't like when we use their same tactics to make America great again. So stick around. I've got coming up on my next DOGE report is going to kind of break down who is Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and why this is important.
Hey folks, what's going on? So, as you can already tell, today is going to be another DOGE video. Now, I didn't really plan on it, but I came across this video earlier, and I'll be sure to leave the link in the description for you to go check out her page. She has a lot of really good stuff, and I think you will find it very informative. But of course, as always, it pays to do your own research. And some of this information that she stated, I was aware of, but then there's others that, I don't know everything. I'm still learning a bunch of stuff, and it pays to know. But at what point, literally, do you stop and evaluate the government? Because as she stated, this was something that was started under Obama. And he wasn't the only one to mention it. There have been other politicians, previous presidents, who all talked about balancing the budget, getting America's finances back on track, lowering taxes, blah, 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 blah type of stuff. But it was all talk and no action. And now we have Trump, who is all talk, he's not all talk, he's talk and action. Promises made, promises kept. You're going to hear that a lot because that's exactly what's happening. And the only reason why they're criticizing him for it is because he's going back to what they originally started and is actually getting it going. Something that they had no intentions of doing. It was just to give you the warm and fuzzies. It was just for you to say, hey, you know what? Heck yeah, you got my vote. Heck yeah, I'm gonna write you a check. I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna vote for you. Heck yeah. And then they continue to feed you the lies and the excuses, and you keep going back. Now, it's not a pretty transition, or I guess you can call it exposure, exposing the fraud, because a lot of stuff is what we've been used to. We've been programmed to be used to it. So we had these federal workers who got fired, lost their jobs. I do have some sympathy for them, because I know what it's like to lose a job and to be unemployed. Um, but in this case, it's no one's fault but the government, because the government created the problem by becoming too big. The bigger the government, the fewer freedoms you have. And on top of that, of course, the more taxes you're going to pay because you need to fund a bigger government. Um, but I also want to show you this other clip from the same creator. Her name's Sarah. Again, I'll leave a link in the description for you to go check out her page. And again, it's very informative and very eye-opening.
The DOGE report, Medicare edition. I want to start this off by first saying, whenever you hear about programs that are government funded, I want to remind you the government actually doesn't make money. Government funded means taxpayer funded. That means you and I funded. That means we funded. So we fund Medicare. So here we go. 2 medicines. These are 2 cancer medicines. We are overpaying for medicines. That's where I'm going to go with this. We're way overpaying for medicine cost because Medicare uses a middleman called pharmacy benefit management companies. That's the person between Medicare and the patient. They decide if you get the procedure, they decide formularies, they decide how much you're going to pay for the cost for prescriptions and all those things. And they are actually paid on a percentage of sales. That means they probably have incentive to make things higher. Here's 2 examples. Like I said, there's 2 cancer medicines. One of them, if you were to pay out of pocket as a private payer, it would be $17. Instead, Medicare pays $2,400 per dose. So last year alone, Medicare spent $600 million of our dollars on a medicine that should have only cost $4 million. That is a $596 million waste. There was another medicine that was $96 for the patient. However, Medicare paid $3,400 per dose. That last year, they paid $1.5 billion for that one prescription when it should have only cost $42 million. That's 2 prescriptions. Do you know how many prescriptions are out there that every time, you guys, that we are overpaying for in Medicare alone? Like, what in the actual? Okay. Second, illegal immigration has cost Medicaid $16.2 billion in emergency medicine. That is on top of the $9 billion already allotted and used during the Obamacare administration. So that is $25 billion in emergency medicine alone for illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, you and I can't get the MRI we need. You and I have to go through 6 weeks of physical therapy that we will pay for out of pocket before we can get the x-ray. I want you to let that sink in for just a second. Also, fun fact, Medicare costs the taxpayers $1 trillion in a year, and 12% of that just goes to overhead and not towards patient care at all, even though we're paying exorbitant amounts on top of all of that. So that's where your money's going in this DOGE report.
Again, something that we've all noted and have spoken out against one way, shape, or form, regardless of your political beliefs. We've all noted how the healthcare system is just jacked up, insurance the same, and we're not getting what we put into it. And some of us aren't even getting anything at all. I mean, we have some critically ill citizens who are denied certain services, and they have legitimate illnesses. Okay, I don't know, that sounds crazy to say, but it's like they don't qualify for certain procedures or medications and such like that. But again, they pay into the system and they don't really get anything out of it, but let you come over here illegally and they roll out the red carpet for you. First class treatment. So look, again, it's not going to be pretty, unfortunately. Some are going to experience hardships through this. Even some of Trump's voters. It's going to impact everyone. It's going to impact everyone differently. The situation is, it's like, again, at what point was this stuff going to be looked at under a microscope? We keep getting screwed, and we keep being told that that's just the way it is. We're doing our best. I promise we're fighting for you, and we're not reaping the benefits. Another thing that DOGE is potentially looking to do is to reimburse the taxpayers based off of the findings and the cuts that they've made along the way. And you have a lot of Democrats who are completely opposed to it. Now, whether or not it happens or not, some people are skeptical of it. But at the same time, but like, why don't we deserve to have that money returned to us? We get taxed like crazy. Income taxes are ridiculous. If they could cut income taxes, can you imagine the amount of money that would benefit us? We could take care of some true financial situations. We can invest. We can do so much more because it's for us. A lot of us, I don't know about you all, but I would love to be able to build a legacy for my family. And at this point in the game, it's kind of difficult to do because before the money even hits my account, the government has dug their big greasy hands in it and taken it out of my reach completely. And then at the end of every year or the beginning of every year tax season, they want us to tell them whether or not they owe us money or we owe them money. How does that make sense? And then, of course, again, we continue to find out that our tax dollars are being completely misused. They're not benefiting us. They're benefiting countries that some of them we would love to go visit, but we can't seem to save up enough money to go visit because our money has been sent there for their use. So again, it's going to hurt. If we're all going to be impacted one way, shape, or form, whether it be negatively, positive or neutral, it's going to hurt. It's like fat camp. The government got too fat. It's time to slim it down, cut the weight, cut the fat. So before I leave you all, I want to highlight these two images real quick. So despite what the mainstream media tells you and those on MSNBC, oh, by the way, Joy Reid has lost her show, so boo-hoo. Anyway, but take a look at this. 76% actually support DOGE. They support it. Undertaking a full-scale effort to find and eliminate fraud and waste in government expenditures. People love it. People love it. Again, promises made, promises kept. You cannot be upset about this. The only ones I can see being upset about this are the ones who want to continue to live in their delusional bubble. That they just prefer things stay the way they are. They don't want to know the truth because the truth is too much. Here's another. Elon Musk. This is from Trump's account. 7 out of 10 voters want $1 trillion removed from federal spending. Folks, that's huge. That's huge. Why don't we deserve to have a better functioning government? Why don't we deserve to actually have our tax dollars work for us, and have few taxes, period. Why don't we deserve that? It's just common sense. Again, the only ones I can see that don't want this to be known are the ones who just really prefer that they stay in the dark. And of course, those who want to keep you in the dark. We can't forget about them, because this has been going on for decades. But again, hey, look, guys, that's all I got for you today. Appreciate you stopping in. Please continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Hit that bell, receive notifications whenever I upload a new video. And yeah, let's keep going. Let's thank God for it regardless, each and every day. God bless.
What goes through your mind when you see this? You're here, you're now seeing it up close.
It's not only seeing it, Alex, you can smell it. You can feel it, right? So it's seeing it with our eyes, and many people have seen it. You all are covering it. But to literally be on the ground here, you can smell the smoke that was here. You can feel the toxicity, frankly, of the environment. You can feel the energy of all of the folks who are still here on the ground.